We'll be starting the new school year off in remote learning environments, and as students, parents, and teachers continue to adapt to this new form of learning, it's important to ease the transition and ensure your child is getting the most out of this virtual education.
A pioneer in innovative educational programming joins us this morning with some ideas on how to do this. We've got Larry Lieberman. So, I mean, for most of us, this is new, online learning. You know, kids go to school, you send them off, they learn at school, and then they come home, but now we've got to adjust and change. And depending on how things go, I mean, if things don't go well, we may all be doing online learning 100% again pretty soon.
Yeah, Kirk, you're absolutely right. The uncertainty around this coming school year is really the greatest crisis our generation of educators has ever faced. And it's really appropriate for parents to be concerned and to want to take action to make sure that their kids are safe and engaged in productive learning. The good news is that kids learn from everything that's around them and not just when they're in the classroom. So we created mouse.org 20 years ago, really as part of an enormous national movement to use nonprofit organizations to supplement and drive innovation and learning. So during this crisis, parents can turn directly to these organizations for free online and remote learning resources and projects that'll help keep their kids on track, regardless of what happens in our local schools.
So, Larry, we have the tools and the resources out there, obviously. Do you think it's going to be harder for kids to retain knowledge and information? And do you think it's going to sacrifice the quality of education, this new digital learning that we're in?
Yeah, I mean, as educators, we look for the long term, and we're really optimistic for children because we know that children are learning all the time and that they learn most from the people they trust the most, their teachers, their parents, and those around them. So I think long term, we're really optimistic that the kind of discoveries that children are engaged in now and the resources and connectivity that they have at home that no other generation has ever had will really help propel them.
And you talk about, mouse.org being founded 20 years ago. Don't you think we're in a better spot now than we were 20 years ago for something like this? I mean, thank goodness it is 2020 because a lot of us have the technology, we have the tools, we have the Zooms and the Hangouts and all these other things that we never had even 5 years ago, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it's really true. 5 years ago when we launched projects.mouse.org, and we told educators that there would be projects online that students could do independently of their educators and then in teams and groups. It was a really unconventional idea. Thank goodness this stuff's here today. And it's right at the fingertips and a few clicks away for most students.
Well, Larry, we're running out of time, but for all of our parents and students that are watching right now, how can they get connected with this tool and program?
Right. For Mouse, we're at projects.mouse.org. There are also so many wonderful local resources here in Colorado. Mouse does a lot of work with the Best Buy Teen Tech Center at the Gold Crown Foundation over in Lakewood. The Denver Museum of Science and Nature has great DO programs. And really, what parents need to know, stay calm and look for projects for your kids to work on, not just lessons. Lessons really help teachers. For parents, get projects that your kids can get engaged with and work independently.
I'm looking at the projects on mouse.org, and I think I'm going to do some of them.
Oh, yeah?
Well, yeah, there's like a little stop motion animator,
brush up on some of the skills,
little music creator. This is all the stuff I love. And you're right, like I learned hands-on. I think a lot of kids learn that way as well. So thank you so much for what you're doing, but also for talking with us this morning.
Thank you, Larry.
Hopefully it helps those parents out there kind of trying to figure this all out. 8:17 right now. Let's get over to Brooks, 57 degrees.